Good morning and good afternoon, kids. This is teacher Gigi. How are you today? So, for today, we're going to learn science. And for today's topic, we're going to talk about light. So, can you tell me what is light? Okay, so light is everything that gives us brightness. Okay, so what are the different light sources? So number one, we have what we call as natural light sources. So the examples are sun, stars, lightning. When we say natural, this comes from our natural environment. So again, for example, we have sun, stars, lightning. And some natural lights can also come from animals like firefly and jellyfish. Number two, artificial lights made by men. So we also have lights that made by men. We have bonfire, candles, and fireworks. When we say artificial, it means it is not natural. It is made by men. And number three, we have artificial light source that runs on electricity. So we have lights that are made by man and lights that are also made by man, but it runs on electricity. So for example, we have bulb, stoplights, and light post. Another examples. Can you give teacher another example of lights that run on electricity? We have flashlight, computer, phone, laptop, projector, LED. Okay, very good. So anything light that runs on electricity. So next we have shadow. So why do we have shadow? So we have shadow when there is light. When there is no light, there will no be shadow. So we have three types of objects. So number one, we have transparent. Number two, translucent. And number three is opaque. When we say transparent, these objects, light can pass through. So for example, we have glass, eyeglasses, and windows. It means that all light that will pass through there, we will see it. Number two, we have translucent. Little light can pass through, meaning to say, not all light can pass through translucent objects, unlike transparent that we can see all of it. But in translucent, we can only see some light. And when we say opaque, light cannot pass through. So which means even there is a light, but if it is blocked by an opaque object, we cannot see the light. So next, shadows can be observed when they are cast on an opaque screen. So again, opaque objects or screen do not pass through, or light do not pass through on opaque objects. That's why we can see shadows on opaque screens. So for example, we have flashlight, we have the object which is the ball, and if we cast it on the opaque screen, we can see shadow. So next we have shape and position. So it says that the shape of the shadow changes because of the position of the object. So for example, in this picture, we have the torch, the object, and their shadow. So when the object is positioned upside or upward, the shadow or the shape of the shadow is rectangle. But when we change the position of the object, the shadow will change its shape. So from being rectangle, the shape of the shadow will become circle. So again, the shape of the shadow changes because of the position of the object. Next, we have near and far. Okay, so what are the differences between near and far? So in this illustration, we have our light source, the object, which is the apple, and our screen. So what can you say about the picture? Okay, very good. So in the near illustration, the apple is near the light, which gives us a big shadow. But when the apple is far from the light, it has only a small shadow. So meaning to say, if the object is near the light, the shadow is big. But when the object is far from the light, the shadow will be small. Okay. And speaking of shadow, let's talk about the parts of a shadow. So everybody, can you say umbra? Umbra. Very good. Can you say penumbra? Penumbra. Very good. So what is umbra and penumbra? So umbra and penumbra are parts of the shadow. So when we say the darkest part of the shadow, for example, in this picture, we have our torch, the ball, and the shadow. So if you can see the darkest part of the shadow, that is what we call our umbra. Umbra. And the light part of the shadow is called as penumbra. Penumbra. Okay, again, dark part of the shadow, umbra. Umbra. Light part of the shadow, penumbra. Penumbra. Okay, so let's have a recap of what we have learned today. So again, we have three different light sources. We have natural light, number 1. Number 2, we have lights made by man. Number 3, lights that runs on electricity. Okay. Next, shadow. Again, we have shadow when we have light. So if there is no light, there will be no shadow. Next, we have three types of objects: transparent, translucent, and opaque. Transparent, light can pass through. Translucent, little light can pass through. Opaque, light cannot pass through. Next, a shadow can be observed on an opaque screen, only on an opaque screen. Next, the shape of the shadow changes because of the position of the object, even if it is up, side, or down. Next, when the object is near the light, the shadow is big. And when the object is far from the light, the shadow is small. And the last one, what are the two parts of the shadow? We have umbra and penumbra. Again, when we say the darkest part of the shadow, it is umbra. And when we say light part of the shadow, it is called as penumbra. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you understand our lesson. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.